Can we hear you?
No, I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Morning. Morning.
See, that's my
Stockholm
my
behind you.
son-in-law, Bill, over there.
All right, nice to meet you, Bill.
Nice to meet you.
I worked hard to get this picture in the background, man.
I can see that. I worked hard for my background as well.
Well, okay. Well, we'll get started. We'll get you out of here. We just do this for fun. This is my only hat. I couldn't find a Swedish hat. This is the Czech Air Force.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's doing it for a Swede.
Yeah, I know.
It's like me putting on a Canadian one for you.
Well, I can take it off.
No, it's fine.
That's okay. Okay, we'll get started. Okay, everybody, welcome to Picking and Putting, this week's edition. There's the swag we got, the cup. We want to welcome our guests, Robert Karlson, professional golfer who lives here in Charlotte now, along with Liberty Bill from the South Charlotte studios, and then me in my attic with Stockholm in the background. Robert, I've gotten to know a few years ago. He's a friend of mine now. He's born and raised in Sweden and moved to North Carolina, I don't know, a decade ago. Got a couple nice kids, and he had 12 pro wins. He was on the Ryder Cup in 6 and 8. He was Order of Merit in Europe. And now he's on the senior tour having a good time, I hope. So we're going to talk about that and see what he's currently 7th in the Schwab Cup. So there you go. So Robert,
you forgot about I'm vice captain in the Ryder Cup 2018, and also coming up in September, if you want to touch briefly on that.
Really?
We're going to beat the Americans again.
Hell, that's cool. No, hey, I'm happy to talk. Hell, we get into that. I got a lot of stuff. I wanted to talk about that 3-wood that Henrik hits too. That darn thing with a graphaloy shaft or whatever the heck it is. Yeah. Well, tell us how you feel. How are things going? Are you having fun on the senior tour? How's that working out?
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. I think as many players experience when they get kind of at the back end of their normal tour experience, kind of between 45 and 50. It's a bit challenging. The young guys coming up are usually hitting it a bit further, even though I think I'm hitting it pretty far distance. I mean, I'm still the same distance now as I won when I won the money list 2008. In 2008, I was probably 19th or 20th on the driving distance. And last year on the European tour, I played there 2 years ago. I was number 190 in driving distance, and mine is still the same. So something has changed.
Oh, yeah.
So it's tough at the end.
Right?
Yeah. And the guys are better. They're better trained, and also they are getting used to hitting these clubs. I grew up with. I even played probably 5 or 6 years on the European tour playing a wooden driver, and then when you start playing a wooden driver, you have to put so much attention in hitting the ball properly. If you hit it on the heel, if you hit it on the toe, you lose enormous amount of distance. So my intention or my goal with my golf swing when I grew up was to hit the ball solid. Nowadays, I talked to the Titleist guys when I was doing a testing in November last year. And they said, we're starting to get players now coming in and just asking for one thing. It's speed. I mean, that was never a question when I grew up. So when I started playing, I wanted to hit a solid driver that I could find and I can get the most out of the swing speed I had. Swing speed was never a thing. Now the guys go to Titleist and test. It's like, give me whatever shaft, whatever club head to give it the maximum speed. I'm going to figure out the rest. So the intention and the whole goal with the game has changed dramatically.
Well, it was like Tiger brought along the physicality of it, although he's always been a guy that's been in shape. But then, Bryson's changing this technologically because he's trying to get 140 mile an hour club head speed, which is just crazy. But to me, I mean, I hear you there. I still think there's a problem. This course they're playing now, this kind of brings that out. I was going to be interested to see how a bomber was going to do, because if you miss the fairways there, you're dead.
Yeah, I watched a bit of it yesterday actually, and I saw a few guys were in trouble when they missed it right on 18, for example. I saw one of Europe's longest guys who just won in Tenerife. Obviously, I forgot his name right now.
But the kid who won 3 times or twice.
The other South African, Dean something.
That's okay.
Typical, I forgot the name. But I mean, he hit himself in problem and made a bogey on the last. So Rory was in trouble a couple of times. but I also saw Bryson hit a wedge from 190 yards to about 12 feet. So it is a different game, and I don't feel that old. It's just, but it's changed very quickly, and the game is looking differently.
Well, and when they try to come in and orchestrate the rule changes, the problem with that is they can orchestrate some of those for you, but for the guy like me or Bill, you can't tell those guys we want to hit it 500 yards. You know, I mean, in other words, they can't stop the technological advances, I don't think.
No, they put themselves, the governing bodies have put themselves, I think, in a bit of a tricky situation where they, in one way, wants to keep the game the same for everybody. But if they do that, they're probably not going to sell as much. Either they're going to, on one side, destroy the game a little bit, destroy a lot of the old courses is probably a better word of putting it. It's going to be hard to play St. Andrews if Bryson is going to hit the ball, and the guys who are going to come behind Bryson, they're going to be even better. I mean, that's just how the evolution is going. And I mean, if the guys are starting hitting 400 yards off the tee, we need to construct and build tournament golf courses. So that's one way to go.
They'll start putting it in the roadside bunker on 17.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, the hotel is never in play anymore. It's
the hotel, they'll just take it over the hotel. They don't have to hit it over the O. They'll just take it over the top of the building. So
yeah. So you either kind of go in a way where you have to design a completely new set of golf courses for tournament play, or they accept that 26, 30 under is a normal score, or they go the other way, which you don't want to, which is going to separate and make it what we call a bifurcation. So we play a different set of equipment. So I think whatever you do, they kind of painted themselves into a corner, and to a certain extent. So I don't really know what the solution is, but for me personally, I think you should have a driver for the guys who play for world ranking points. Let them have a driver where you actually are a smaller head, so you're punished for off-center hits, which is probably going to make it less interesting to just increase speed and speed.
Don't you think Augusta is going to drive some of those changes, because they can't make the place any bigger or longer anymore? They can make the greens faster.
Yeah, but you can't make the greens much faster anyway, because then you can't putt them. Then you lose pin positions and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a collaboration between all the governing bodies, but it's definitely a tricky situation that we're in at the moment.
And Robert, you're the game, the scientist. So I'm curious, they can track everything now, right? They got sensors on everybody. You've got all sorts of data. When you were coming up in the game, what data were you specifically using to help you make better decisions, whether it be in practice or out on the course in a tournament?
Well, the data I had to look at was what are my friends doing that are better players than I am. That's just, I mean, it was nothing. We didn't have TrackMans. We didn't have, I mean, the first time I probably had a fitted driver must have been 10 years into my my pro career. So, I mean, things have changed very, very quickly. You just looked at what looked good and what gave you good feel when you hit it, and where the ball went where you wanted to, and that was kind of it. But I mean, I was very lucky when I grew up, because I had good role models at my golf club. So I saw they were very good players. They played on the Swedish tour, and they were doing well on the Swedish tour, and also played the Swedish European Tour event. And I saw, okay, that's the amount of practice they put in. So I just looked at it's like, I'll do what they do and a bit more, and I should hopefully catch them up one day. And that was kind of what I had to go on, and yeah, that was it.
So now, are you using all those tools?
Yeah, to a certain extent, not everything. I think TrackMan, for example, which is become a normal thing when you go on the PGA Tour, you would say probably 75% have one up when they warm up. When we go on the Champions Tour, it might be one guy who has it, and it's usually Phil Mickelson that comes from the PGA Tour. So they don't really exist in our generation. But I use it every now and again, but not as I have had thoughts about buying one, but I haven't, because I think you can get too caught up in the numbers, and especially, I mean, I'm called the scientist, and I don't really know where it comes from, but I am a bit. I can get a bit caught up in numbers sometimes, and I stop playing golf. I can end up playing numbers instead, and say, okay, I know this is a better shot, but when I stand there on the first tee on a golf tournament, it is all of a sudden, it's not about hitting the perfect golf shots. It's about getting this golf ball around in 18 holes and do that 3 or 4 days in a row, and that's the thing I need. That's the goal I have for the week. It's not about having the perfect launch angle or the perfect attack angle of to the green and stuff like that. But it's a good tool to have. But more as a tool of where am I now, and the things I'm working with in the swing. Does it go? Is it trending the way where I want it to go? If I'm too much inside, for example, is what I'm doing giving it less inside, or those sort of things. But I don't play golf through the TrackMan, which I know it's a lot more like that on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I was going to say I have. I mean, they're great field players like a Ray Floyd way back in the time, and all the technology stuff. I mean, I watch a young man like Ricky Fowler, and I feel like he had a swing that he was his swing, and now he gets into his 30s and he tries to make a lot of changes equipment, and he kind of goes down in a deep hole. Hopefully, he's coming out of it, but I watch some of those and I think they get too much technical information and it screws them up. But
yeah, you can definitely get lost in it. Even Rory said in an interview that he got lost a little bit in the chase for extra miles, and he lost his swing from it a little bit. So, but I think they can get it back. I mean, that's not a problem. But if you look on Ricky, for example, I saw his stats the other day when I looked at it, and he's gone from number 1 in putting to 180 in putting. Yeah. So it's obviously more the putting, but has the putting got worse because he might have put more emphasis on trying to chase numbers or chase swing changes or change. So you never really know what's going on in someone's life or in someone's career. So it's hard to put the finger on why it is happening, but it's definitely, it has been a trend over the last couple of years, obviously after what Bryson has achieved to chase the extra yards. And statistically, yes, it over a season, you will be better having 120 yards second shots than 140. It's just a fact. Right. But you're going to have, and when he won in Winged Foot, that was obviously a perfect course for him because you could, from the rough, you could play if you were close enough to the green. If you had 200 yards left, you had no chance. But if you had 140, if you're strong as he was, or he is, you could always dig out a wedge and bounce it up to the front. And you can two-putt from there. So it is certain courses where it's going to be a huge advantage, and it's going to be certain courses where it's not going to be so much advantage. But in the long run, no doubt, hitting it further is better. But you need also to be able to find the golf ball.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would have never picked an Open for him to be where he broke through in a major. Just because of that, I would have thought that was the course where he would, eat his lunch. But well, here off tangent. So I've heard you talk about these things in the rangefinder. So I got one of those, and I'm going, it's not going to speed up play for these guys unless they're way offline. And my attitude was, okay, if you want to make that legal, then why not let Robert and his caddy wear one of these? And mine,
they are,
and they are wearing them.
US, no, that's like an
distance.
Yeah, we so can next week in the US PGA Championship, we can use the rangefinder. Yeah.
But because what I was saying, they kept saying, well, all the guys play to the front yardage, and this thing gives me front yardage, back yardage, yardage to the hazards, clear the hazards, water, whatever. So I'm going, well, then just put those on the caddy and the player rather than even pull out the gun if they care that much.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make much difference. I played a tournament on the Swedish Golf Tour where I was a host in my hometown in Katrineholm, where we were allowed to use rangefinders. And I think it just adds another thing that you want to double check. As you say, it is obviously a great advantage if you're way offline, so you have angles to deal with, then it's much quicker. But I would use it, and maybe I'm probably a bit more careful or a bit more thorough than the few guys, or than the newer guys are. There might be more, case 140, just hit it. But I ended up 140. Okay, so how much is that to the front? If it's 140, the pin is 14 up, so it's 126 to the front. And if on this angle, it's going to be 3 off, so it's 127, and it's going to be...
You're getting lost in the numbers.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to get any quicker, except for the way off shots. But you will be counting it, but you will counting it backwards instead of we do 126, 14 up, 140,
Right.
5 behind it, 145 to the back edge, and we're aiming to hit it into 143 because from there and so on.
So
But
it's math.
yeah, but then now they're going to go the opposite. So it's 140 to the flag, and the pin is 14 off, so it's 126. So I think it's just going to change the math, and the guys who are going to take their time are still going to take the time.
If they want to do an infomercial for it, they should pull out that shot from Jordan Spieth at the Open.
Yeah.
Where he walked. He was over in the car park or wherever.
Yeah, it was a driving range in
so that's that place it would work. But
yeah, the problem you have, it's big mounts in the way, so you still need to find the line as well, and it doesn't go. We need an X-ray.
Okay, yeah, he had to walk up for that.
Second shot of 15. Yeah.
What do you think about these super tour idea? Now, some guy your age, if they were going to come out and pay you $1 zillion, well, then you'd do it. But
it's a very touchy subject. I need to know more information on exactly what it means. I think the guys are going to start questioning it if they can't play any majors.
Right.
If the price is for the players to, if you sign up, you cannot play any more majors, and then we can end up having a quick shutdown that it was in. I don't know if you were aware, Swedish or European soccer kind of had a thing, Super League like that coming up, where it's going to do closed league with.
Yeah, it shut down.
Yeah, it shut down very quickly because they said, well, if you can't play, if you sign up for this, you can't play Champions League, you can't play this, and hell broke loose in the fans. But obviously, the fans on the soccer in Europe is way more passionate than the golf fans would be. But I think in the long run, you shoot yourself in the foot if you're going to have the best players playing against each other all the time. It's like having a birthday every day. Is it going to be that much fun? Nothing to look forward to.
And you eliminate the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, the Ryder Cup could be a bit boring. You could lose a little bit of it, and so I think we need to look a little bit on where is the game heading in the long run, and what do we actually appreciate about the game? What are we looking forward to? What is selling to the crowds? We have 3 World Tour events, and then another 4 majors on top of that, where you see the majority of the top players playing against each other. Is that enough? So we have normal events that then can kind of run alongside them, or are we going to try to create 20 majors? Or is that what we really want to see? Yeah. But you shouldn't be too conservative in this thinking, because it's like you just sound like an old man, bitter old man, which is probably not what you want to do. But I think it's important to put all the whole deck of cards on the table and say, what are we having now? What are the pros and cons on what we have? And if we change this, what is going to be the challenges with a big change?
So you mentioned the Ryder Cup, and I'm curious from a philosophical standpoint. We look at Mark Leishman and Cam Smith, who recently won together on tour, but previously Ernie Els didn't pair them at the Ryder Cup because the analytical data didn't line up. So where do you come down on the age-old debate? Do we line up guys based on their camaraderie and their teamwork together, or do we line up guys based on how the data indicates they'll pair well?
Well, it's even more to it than that. Because especially because Cam and Mark Leishman would play together in the President Cup, which is a slightly different format from the Ryder Cup. In the Ryder Cup, one of the biggest challenges we have is the 30% of our team is rested. So we play 8 guys out of 12. On the President's Cup, they play 10 out of 12, or even 12 out of 12, I think.
Yeah, I think they even play 12 out of 12.
They play 12 out of 12. So then it's a different thing. Then you make sure you're trying to pair the 12 the best way you can. But in our situation in the Ryder Cup, the biggest challenge is, what do we do with the other 4? These are world-class athletes coming to an event where they all want to play all the time. So how do we keep the group happy? How do we make sure we as captains or vice captains communicate to the team why we rest someone? How do we? That's a huge thing. That's why I think is one of the things. I'm not saying Americans haven't done it well, but I'm saying that Europeans are more successful in keeping the group together, especially over those first 2 days. And how do you make sure everybody is on board that it could be the best thing for the team to sit out. So that's a huge challenge in the Ryder Cup, those first 2 days, because you have 4 guys sitting in the morning and the afternoon, and you want to spread it out. We have all the stats on how it works. We know that the teams who are playing all 12 players at least once the first day win 65% of the times. So we need to have everybody on grass the first day somehow. And it's just 4 foursomes and it's 4 better balls. We better figure out what's the best, what are the best combinations to get everybody playing without sort of paying too big of a price. And we are just starting now. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say the alternate shot format is, God, that's difficult.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, but we have in Europe, we've been quite lucky. We've had very good foursome players, especially when we played at home in Paris last time. The home team always set up the golf course. So 18 months ahead, we had the stats on how our team was most likely going to look and how the American team was most likely going to look, and we literally walked from T1 to 18th green and said, okay, that's where we want to have her off. That's where we're not going to have her off, because that's where we're going to be, and that's where the Americans are going to be. We knew that we hit it 3 yards shorter than the Americans in average, and we hit 3% more fairways. So we wanted to take the driver out of their hands and make sure they couldn't hit any wedges to the greens, because we knew if we turned into a driving distance competition, that ends up in a wedge, which ended up to a short putting competition, the Americans had a higher percent chance of winning. So we wanted to take the driver out of their hands, the wedge out of their hands, to make it a mid to long iron competition, which leads to longer first putts, and then our percentage we're going to increase.
I'm going to pair you with Victor Hovland. I like him.
Yeah.
Isn't he a player? I just like his. I guess I like his personality, that he comes across as he's having a good time, you know?
Yeah, we are very excited. He's gonna, I don't know if he doesn't get injured. Yeah, if he doesn't get injured or anything like that, he's most likely going to be in the team. And obviously, we're very excited to have him, especially for me as well. He being a fellow Scandinavian, it's very exciting to have a great Norwegian playing coming. So we really look forward to have him in the team. And we're starting right now actually to look into who is his best partner, and they see a better foursome player, four ball player. The way he looks off the tee, you would think it's a better 4-ball player, but we don't know exactly how Whistling Straits is going to play. We knew exactly how Paris is going to play because we were the ones who set it up, but we can pretty much figure it out. We set it up with narrow fairways and thick rough and slowish greens, and they're going to do the opposite.
Well, Whistling Straits is similar to where they're playing now in a way. It's got a linksy feel. Yeah, I saw Poulter on TV yesterday, and he snuck into the American fitting room for the Ryder Cup, and he said, "I've got a surprise tip for you. They're going to wear red, white, and blue." Poulter on social media, dude, if you don't follow him, you should, because he's posting himself.
It's good fun.
Yeah, breakfast. Well, how do you feel? How do you feel now? It's got to be fun for you now to not have to travel the world. To be able
it's nice.
And is there more camaraderie than maybe the Europeans always had camaraderie, but it affects me that the senior tour, you guys go out and have a glass of wine after a round and say, "Hey, yeah, I was really bad today."
Come on, it's Corona. There's no wine going on here.
Okay.
No. But first of all, I really enjoyed to travel the world over 30 years. But when you're 50, you kind of had enough of that. You've seen Indonesia enough times. That's kind of the thing, and especially now with the way the world is looking, international travel is a hassle. You don't want to do it. I played 2 events on the European tour in Abu Dhabi and Dubai earlier this year, and it was not a very nice experience. And that's more about the Corona restrictions and how we literally were locked into the hotel. It was hotel and golf course and back and forth, and we were literally, they had one restaurant we can go to in Dubai, and they fumigated the elevators as soon as someone came out. They fumigated the corridors every night, and you were literally in your room or in that restaurant. So it was not a very nice feeling. So now to be able to play in America, where it's now the country's doing very well with the Corona, and it's more open here, and also it's probably a bit harder to make 50-year-olds walk in line. it's a bit looser. It's a bit looser, but it's the atmosphere on tour is different from the main tour. When we from the first tee to the 18th green, it's full on competition and everybody wants to beat each other and play their best game. But it is not, as I said before, it's not so many trackmans on the driving range. It is not as busy in the physio track, both because we only play 78 guys and only play 144 or 156 on the main tour. But the body also feels different after 30 plus year on tour. So you can't hit the same amount of balls. I talked to Freddie Couples, I played with him the other week, and he said, well, the situation is I played a lot of golf tournaments. I have my aches and pains, and even if I wanted to hit a lot of balls, I can't. So I need to pace myself. I need to be aware of how many tournaments I play, how much practice I do when I'm at the tournament. So yeah, the atmosphere and the tournaments are different, but it is not less competitive. That is for sure.
Oh, I was going to say you could use Senor Jimenez's workout plan.
Yeah, I see him sometimes. So. Yeah. He's actually one of the guys who spends more time in the gym than most.
That's
really
funny.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a new spouse, pretty new, I guess. So that maybe that's.
Yeah, no, but there's a certain amount of guys who go to the gym, and I would say the guys who are more injury prone is probably there, and who also feel that they have a bit of control of their injuries. They can also do something about it and be more proactive. So yeah, it's a bit more like that. But also we play. It's a slightly different style as well. We play 2 pro-ams every week. We are expected to do more for the sponsors on the PGA tour. If you have played a pro-am on the normal tour, it's kind of the guys see it as something they have to go through. I mean, for us, we are more dependent on the sponsors. We're also probably a little bit older and wiser, so I think we give the sponsors a little bit of a better experience. And we have a pro-am dinner usually on, let's say, Tuesday evening. We're not required to go there, but I would say 50% of the field goes to those dinners. It's kind of a draw party. So if we're starting on the Friday morning, it'll be a few guys who spend a bit of time with the sponsors, and they have a glass of wine and enjoy the time. So, I mean, but I'm not saying the guys are drunks, because they're not. They're still proper athletes, but they do understand that the value for the sponsors is to spend time with the players, and I would say we give a bit more than they do on the PGA Tour, and that's we understand that if we don't do good pro-am days on Wednesday and Thursday, we probably are going to play for smaller prize money next year, and that's just a fact. You know,
that's been an interesting transition to watch with the younger fellas, and how Tiger, you've seen him evolve into, you know, Ricky and these guys go play golf, and Justin and Jordan and stuff, and then they go out and you see them on a boat and off Miami watching television. So Tiger never did any of that, and now he's kind of evolved into that. Well, tell us before we go, because I know you've got things you got to do, but
practice is called.
Oh, come on. So tell us about.
Hey, you got a major next week or something?
I do have a major next week. I sure do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us about
the first one. We're going to use a laser, a rangefinder as well.
Well, okay. So you're going to go practice with your rangefinder?
Yeah.
Well, no. What I was going to say is tell us real quickly about what you support and promote back home in Sweden with the youngsters and stuff. I know you've got some stuff you do back home. Yeah.
I've had over a number of years now. I have a junior event on my home course. It started just to as a smallish event where I wanted to make sure the juniors of my home club have like an event to look forward to every year, and I made it so it was both for players who are not very good, so everybody can take part, and also one part where they have the better players can get ranking points and stuff, and it's evolved now. So we have it's been a full field the last couple of years, and the guys who play without a handicap, I think they have to play 27 holes to get a ranking points, because we have a Swedish junior ranking and things like that. So the tournament's definitely grown, and it's very popular, so that's good. And they play now the 6th of June, which is the Swedish 4th of July.
Oh,
Yeah, so that tournament's always going on that date, and yeah, we have because they're just opening up now for in Sweden to play tournament golf again, because that's been shut down for a while.
Yeah, I know Canada's still shut down.
Yeah. So they're opening up, so that's very good. So the players are excited to get going, and I'm really looking forward to get a team that is helping me out with it in my home club in Katrineholm to set up a great event. So that's going to be fantastic. And I'm also part of having a tournament on the Swedish Golf Tour, also my home club in Katrineholm, and they play mid-July. This year I played it a few times. It was a part of the Challenge Tour, which is our Corn Ferry Tour, so to speak, in Europe. So for 3 years we were on that, but now we're back on the Swedish Golf Tour. But it's coming. It's actually clashing this year with the CUS Seniors Open, so I can't be there. But again, I'm just hoping the guys on the way up in Sweden have tournaments to play, and yeah.
Yeah, but after you win the Senior Open, you can go home, with a trophy and stuff, and give them some.
I can do that. I'll show them the trophy, and I'll be there the week after. I am actually going to be in my hometown the week after. So, yeah.
Well, Billy, I forgot my shout outs. We always do every time we do this every week, Robert, we do shout outs. So I had shout outs, and it was all fun, because I found I had to do a shout out to Zlatan.
Okay.
Did you know he's a Swedish soccer player, Bill?
No idea. Yeah, I know.
Zlatan. The guy who played for the LA Galaxy and stuff.
Of course I know Zlatan. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Zlatan. And then the other one was, I found out, everybody knows Bjorn Borg and Alfred Nobel, but Anne Margaret, the movie star, her name is Anne Margaret Olsen, and she was born in, I was going to say it was your hometown, but I may be wrong. But she was born in Sweden. She's 80 now.
Okay.
There you go, Anne Margaret. Yeah. Oh, here's my last one. So, Bill, you got any shout outs you want to do?
Oh, no, you're rolling. Keep going.
Okay. Now, the last one I got is a quote, and I had to work on this. I'm doing all these language things, Robert. So you're gonna have to.
I'm gonna let me hear now.
Yeah, don't translate this as that. So, an man som kan ta språk var ta man. Do you have any idea what I said?
Do it again. I was close in the beginning, but I kind of lost you.
An man som kan ta språk var ta man.
A man som kan tala språk. So, a man that can speak languages.
Yeah, ta.
But then
ta. Is that right?
Take two. Två språk. Två.
No, two.
Yeah, a man can do that.
I was trying to say two.
Yeah, a man that can speak 2 languages.
Yeah. Var ta man.
The last one. What
is worth 2 men.
Okay, a man can speak. Bad.
Okay,
so
a man that can speak 2 languages is worth 2 men.
It's the A with the A with the 2 dots or 1 circle above. That's what screws it up for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of the languages I'm trying to learn is Czech. So that's like doing the New York Times crossword. It's basically impossible, but I'm still doing.
Yeah. Swedish is kind of similar. It's difficult as well.
Yeah, it's so.
Yep.
Well, we wish you luck. Good luck next week. Good luck with your practice. Thanks for being on the show. Liberty Bill from the South Charlotte studios. I'm in Stockholm in my garage, and Robert's in his house and getting ready to go practice and use his rangefinder. We welcome you. Thanks for everybody for being here. Robert, thanks for being here. And,
thank you very much.
We'll see y'all next time. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Take care. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Billy.